Hey everyone, welcome to day 8 of the 60-day Pentesting challenge. We spent the first week on reconnaissance, gathering intel from the outside. Today we switch to active testing, and the first tool you need to master is Burp Suite. It's the standard workbench for web application security testing, and most professional pentesters have it open all day. Let's get into how it actually works and how to use it effectively. Burp Suite is an intercepting proxy. Here's what that means in practice. You configure your browser to send all HTTP traffic through Burp, which runs on localhost port 8080. Every request your browser makes passes through Burp first, then Burp forwards it to the target server. Responses come back the same way, through Burp, then to your browser. This gives you full visibility into every single request and response, and more importantly, it lets you modify requests before they reach the server. That's the key difference from browser DevTools. DevTools shows you what already happened. Burp lets you change what's about to happen. Let's set it up properly. First, use a dedicated browser profile or install Foxy proxy so you can toggle the proxy on and off easily. Set your HTTP and HTTPS proxy to 127.0.0.1 port 8080. For HTTPS interception, you need to install Burp CA certificate. With Burp running and your browser proxied, navigate to http://burpsuite, download the certificate, and import it into your browser certificate store as a trusted CA. Here's why this is necessary: Burp performs a man-in-the-middle on TLS connections. It generates certificates on the fly for each domain, signed by its own CA. Without trusting that CA, your browser rejects every HTTPS connection. One important note: use a separate browser profile for this, 230 to 330, before you browse anything. Set your target scope. Go to Target, then Scope, and add your authorized target domain. Use regex if needed, something like *target.example.com$. Then go to Proxy, Options, and check the box that says Don't Send Out-of-Scope Items to History. This single step prevents your HTTP history from filling up with requests to Google Analytics, CDNs, font services, and every other third-party domain the site loads. Without scope filtering, you'll have thousands of irrelevant requests drowning out the ones that matter. Now let's talk about the core tools. The Proxy tab has two important subtabs: Intercept and HTTP History. HTTP History is your timeline of every in-scope request. You can sort by status code, response length, MIME type, or search for strings. I pay close attention to response sizes. If most API calls return 2 to 5 kilobytes but one returns 150K, that endpoint might be leaking extra data. The Intercept subtab is where you pause and edit live requests. I keep Intercept off most of the time and only toggle it on right before I click something interesting, like a submit button or a payment confirmation. For 30 to 530, Repeater is the tool I use more than anything else. Right-click any request in HTTP history, send it to Repeater, and you get a dedicated workspace for that request. You can modify it and resend it as many times as you want without affecting your browser session. Here's a practical example. Say you see a GET request to /API/users/42/profile that returns your profile data. In Repeater, change that 42 to 43, or 1, or any other number. Click Send. If you get someone else's profile data back, that's an insecure direct object reference, a broken access control vulnerability, and it's in the OWASP top 10. You just found it in about 5 seconds, 5:30 to 6:15, two more tools worth knowing today. Decoder handles all the encoding and decoding you'll encounter: base 64, URL encoding, HTML entities, hex. Web apps layer these constantly. You'll find a cookie that's base 64, encoded JSON containing your user role. Decode it, change the role from viewer to admin, re-encode it, and test whether the server actually validates that value. Comparer lets you diff two responses side by side. Send two similar requests with one small change and compare the responses to see exactly what differs. This is great for detecting username enumeration. If a valid username gets a slightly different error response than an invalid one, Comparer will show you the exact byte difference. Quick tips before we wrap up. Burp's embedded browser works without proxy config but has a detectable fingerprint. Some sites block it. Use a real browser for reliable results. The free Community Edition is fine for learning but throttles Intruder and Lack Scanner. And watch your project file size, set scope first, and add intercept rules to skip static files like images, CSS, and fonts. Your future self will thank you when you're not scrolling through thousands of asset requests. That's Burp Suite fundamentals. Tomorrow on day 9, we'll get into the advanced features, Intruder for automated fuzzing and Scanner for vulnerability detection. Make sure you're comfortable with the proxy to repeater workflow we covered today because everything builds on it. See you tomorrow.